The Galactic Academy's recreational hall fell silent as Katniss popped open her cola can. Every Zalathi cub in the vicinity jumped backward, their fur standing on end, crystalline eyes wide with terror. "What was that sound?" squeaked Mengslai, the smallest of the cubs, pressing all four of their paws against their sensitive auditory membranes. Katniss looked up from her drink, confused by the sudden commotion. Neo, her fellow human exchange student, chuckled from across the room. "You just gave them quite a scare." The Zalathi were known throughout the galaxy as one of the most technologically advanced species. Their ships could fold space-time. Their medical technology could regenerate entire limbs, yet here they were, cowering before a simple aluminum can. "It's just a soda," Katniss said gently, holding up the red can. The cubs maintained their distance, but their natural curiosity began overcoming their fear. Professor Vexian, the senior Zalathi instructor, floated closer on their hover disk. "That explosive decompression sound. Your species deliberately creates containers that make such violent noises." "It's not violent," Neo explained, walking over with his own unopened energy drink. "It's just pressurized carbon dioxide being released." Completely harmless, the cubs exchanged bewildered glances. Tikro, the bravest of the young Zalathi, inched forward. "Your people enjoy consuming liquids that explode?" Katniss couldn't help but smile. "It doesn't explode. Look, I'll show you slowly." She grabbed another can from the vending machine. The cubs huddled together but didn't retreat this time. "This metal container holds the liquid under pressure," she explained, pointing to the tab. "When I pull this piece, it breaks the seal and equalizes the pressure. The sound is just air rushing out." "But why?" Mengslai asked, their voice filled with genuine confusion. "Our hydration pods are completely silent and much more efficient." "Because," Neo said, cracking open his own can with a satisfying pop and hiss, causing another round of flinches. Sometimes the experience is part of the enjoyment. The cubs looked at each other, then back at the humans. Something shifted in their expressions, fear transforming into fascination. "Do it again," Tikro whispered. Katniss raised an eyebrow. "Really?" All 12 cubs nodded in unison, moving closer despite their instincts. She opened another can, and this time only half of them flinched. By the fourth can, they were crowding around her, their fear replaced by wonder. "Humans are so strange," Mengslai marveled. "You find joy in things that would terrify most species. No wonder you survived your pre-space era." Professor Vexian's tentacles rippled, and what Katniss had learned was amusement. "I've been studying humans for 40 cycles, and you still surprise me. Most species eliminate unnecessary sensory stimuli from their consumption methods. You've turned it into entertainment. Can we try?" Tikro asked eagerly. Neo handed them an unopened can. The young Zalathi held it like it might detonate, then slowly, carefully pulled the tab. The crack made them jump, but their eyes sparkled with delight. "Again," they chirped, and soon all the cubs were clamoring for their own cans. As Katniss watched the alien children discovering the simple pleasure of opening soda cans, she reflected on what made humanity unique. It wasn't their strength. Dozens of species were stronger. It wasn't their intelligence. The Zalathi and others far exceeded human mental capacity. It wasn't even their resilience, though that often surprised other species. It was their ability to find joy in chaos, to turn everyday inconveniences into experiences, to make art from disorder. Where other species sought efficiency and silence, humans celebrated the unnecessary noise, the fizzy burn of carbonation, the satisfying crack of breaking a seal. "You know what else makes a great sound?" Neo asked with a mischievous grin, pulling out a bag of bubble wrap from his backpack. The cubs tilted their heads in confusion as he popped a single bubble. The snap sent them scurrying back initially, but within seconds they were reaching for the sheet. By the end of the recreational period, the hall was filled with the sounds of popping bubble wrap and opening soda cans, punctuated by the delighted squeals of young Zalathi discovering that sometimes the most advanced thing a species can do is remember to have fun with the simple things. Professor Vexian approached Katniss as the cubs reluctantly filed out for their next lesson. "You've taught them something our most sophisticated educational programs couldn't." "What's that?" "That progress doesn't always mean eliminating every inconvenience. Sometimes those inconveniences are what make life interesting." They paused. Perhaps that's why humans, despite being relatively new to the galactic community, adapt so quickly to any situation. You don't just tolerate chaos, you celebrate it. As Katniss cleaned up the empty cans, she noticed Mixlai had stayed behind. "Human Katniss?" the small cub asked. "Tomorrow, could you show us that thing Neo mentioned? The one where you cook meat over open flames instead of using molecular reconstructors? You mean barbecuing?" Katniss grinned. "Sure, but I should warn you, it's messy, inefficient, and makes lots of smoke." Mixlai's eyes lit up. "That sounds perfect." Walking back to their quarters, Neo nudged Katniss. "I think we just started a revolution. With soda cans." "With joy," he replied. "Sometimes that's all a revolution needs." The next day, the Academy's first unnecessary noise appreciation club was founded, with 12 Zilati cubs and 2 human sponsors. Within a month, it became the most popular extracurricular activity on campus, with species from across the galaxy coming to experience the simple pleasure of popping bubble wrap, opening soda cans, and discovering that sometimes the best technology is no technology at all.